Shout out to DLT Trading. We have a group of Praetorian ties and the little one that could, the 187 flipper in blue. The rest here, we have a grouping of Praetorian tie knives that Paul at DLT ordered quite some time ago, and he leaves them maker's discretion. So this is just an idea of if you're a reseller and you want to purchase ties, or if you want to leave maker's discretion up to us in-house, this is an idea of the sampling of what can be done. So like Paul at DLT Trading, he ordered these, I want to say at SHOT Show maybe 2 years ago, and we're just doing a run of Praetorian tie knives right now. So here we are. He basically just says, I want so many in this type of blade steel, I want so many in this type of blade steel. You pick the grind out, you pick the finish and everything, and this is kind of what we come up with. So if you are equally as impressed with different finishes and treatments, and you basically just want us to come up with something really interesting, unique, and custom, that's the best way to do it. And then if you do want to order a custom knife and you have maybe certain things you don't like or do like, then my recommendation is when you place the order, you give us 3 words of description. So you say like maybe whimsical, colorful, shiny, or you say dark, tactical, muted. 3 things that kind of describe the overall appearance of what you're trying to get. And then you let us have at it. And if there's something you don't like, then maybe you say, I absolutely don't want any Vulcan, or I absolutely don't want any tumbled on the blade. Other than that, if you're looking for something custom, and quite honestly, we don't really do made to order, tell me exactly what you want on every single part of the knife anymore. It's just too labor intensive. Typically, if you order a knife that's super duper custom and you have it in your mind, you have a preset concept of what it's going to look like when it's done. Just like when here's an example for me. When I read a book and I finish the book and I have an idea of what everybody looks like in there, it's hard to break away from that image that you've burned into your brain. So, if you want to order a custom knife, whether it's a Praetorian tie, a T, whatever it is, if you want something insanely cool, unique, and custom, just kind of leave it up to us. So we're going to dive in. I want to talk about the different finishes and treatments on these knives. Again, headed to DLT Trading in Marionette, Wisconsin, 877-622-2397. If you haven't heard of them yet, they're our biggest direct reseller right now. We love Paul at DLT, and they allow us to do these cool custom runs for them. So let's dive back down and take a look. The very first knife here is an S35. It's a partial satin. So instead of the whole knife being hand burnished, the flat has been burnished and the bevel has been left. It's S35. There's the serial number. This is what's called Dragon's Egg sculpting, done in-house by hand, custom, and the clip has been made to match. There's a nice fade from a bronze flat ano to the Dragon's Egg towards the tip, and it's an ano fade with sculpting on the whole handles. Titanium hardware. The second one is an S35 Vulcan Tanto, and the Praetorian is one of the few models too that you do have an option to do Tanto or drop point on, and this is the only model that we offer Vulcan still. There's the serial number again. This is Peaks and Valleys. It's a violet to bronze fade, and it's heavily sculpted here towards the end and kind of fades off. The clip has been brushed, and it's got that violet to bronze fade on it as well. Third knife here is an S35 straight up tumbled. It's got bronze in the field, and on the perimeters it has a light blue with a violet. The clip is slightly different, but it's been brushed in bronze on the flats and a light blue down in the conical sculpting. All right, the fourth one is also a Vulcan, and again here I was just chatting with someone about how different the Vulcan finishes look. And I'm going to pull this one too, even though it's a partial. So dark and brooding, still interesting, a little bit more colorful, probably what more people say, this is what I want. And then this is a partial. It's satin on the flat and Vulcan in the fuller groove and on the bevel and on the spine of the blade. So, but you can see if you order a knife and you say, I definitely want a Vulcan finish, then, and you leave it to us in-house, we are not dummies. We'll pick a very cool, so this has been flamed actually. So they went and sculpted it and then flamed it, and it looks like it blends in just beautifully with the knife. The hardware has been bronze anodized, And since we can't apply flame to the spring and it creates a little more interest, this has been bronze anodized and that same peaks and valleys. So it's got a really cool duality to it. Dark breaker on here, so PVD breaker. And it's got that flamed clip to complement the handle. Just so, I mean, whoa, bitchin'. Okay, next one, 3V. And the 3V vulcanizes slightly differently as well. This is a Tonto. Brushed flats, bronze on the flats, and then we have not as much deep down as, let's say, this one, but a very subtle peaks and valleys. Again, bronze anodized titanium hardware to complement the bronze down here. The clip has been sculpted and it's got that bronze polished fade on it as well. And each of these exceedingly unique. One of my favorites on the table, no sculpting, very subtle, dark, tactical, 3V PVD drop point. So the 3V of the 3-blade steels is the highest in carbon. So I typically, when I hear somebody order 3V Vulcan, I always cringe a little bit. I'm like, okay, just know it's gonna rust. So 3V, typically we like to put the PVD coating on it. And if you look closely, this has got some sexy pinstriping on pretty much all the parts. So if you look on the perimeters of the scales, rather than the perimeters being polished, it's been pinstriped along the facets where the handle meets the perimeter. Same on the blade spine. Same on the clip. I mean, just wicked. And same on the hardware. The pivot screws have been brushed right around the perimeter. This might be my favorite. No, okay, I found another favorite. 3V PVD Tonto. Now, if you get the Praetorian T or the Genesis T and you want the 3V, you'll notice that on our drop downs, it's only available in the drop point. But because this is the tie and it's the full 1200, we pretty much give you any option available. So 3V PVD Tonto, stainless steel hardware that's been PVD coated. The breaker's been PVD'd. You'll notice that the spacers are all PVD coated and the clip. I'm not really sure what we call this. I mean, sometimes I call it sand dunes, but I kind of call it predator because it reminds me of like reptilian skin. And it's been bead blasted, so it's dark, matted out. It's got bronze in the field and violet in the outside. I know we're going to get calls today from Mark. Mark's going to call me, right, Kevin? Mm-hmm. You know Mark. Be like, I have to have that. All right, S35, talked about it a little bit earlier. This was a Vulcan, and we went through and satined out the flats. So brushed face, the hardware hard to see, but the same thing has been done. So this stainless steel hardware has been flamed, and then we brushed the face. So you can see the color down in the 6-gun pivot. You can see it around the perimeter here. You can see all of the hardware and internally that it's been flamed. You can see that the clip has color on it and has been faced on the flats. And I mean, just very, very, very cool. If you're looking for treatments of hardware, so we have PVD, flaming, brushing, anodizing. If you do like the anodized treatment, you'll notice we can only do that on titanium. That cannot be applied to stainless steel. It does not anodize. The sculpting on this is fluted, and I call this the painter's splash, the artist's splash, because it's got that very artistic random motif to it. And then, hi, this guy's like, thanks for inviting me to the party, guys. 187 flipper, all titanium, blue handles. So the options on this are pretty straightforward, pretty simple, no customizations on this knife. So I'm actually glad this is in the video because the 187 series knives have no custom options. I mean, quite honestly, to have them be in all titanium is an upgrade, and to have there be a couple different color options is an upgrade. But to keep the price point for this knife where it's at, we kind of keep it really simplistic. So again, DLT Trading, reach out. I'm posting this right now, and I hope their phones ring off the hook. I really do, because these knives should all sell within the days. And I hope Paul gets some calls from it, because I love Paul. I love DLT Trading. I love that you guys are all watching. Until the next time, I'm out.